Hey, Kate. Hey, Kate, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Sorry, my voice is a little messed up from I had brain surgery recently, so my
Oh,
voice,
shoot.
like, yeah, it's a whole thing.
That sounds like a whole thing. My gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, let's focus on you. I love those headphones. First, I
Thank
thought
you.
you were just wearing cat ears, but now I see that they're actually part of the headphones, which is dope.
Yeah. I liked the Kraken, the pink ones with the cat ears, but my entire computer setup is all white. So I got like these little white ears that I can attach to it. Had
That's
to stay on
cool.
theme.
That's cool. So, I want to start by asking, can you explain exactly what it is that you do when you go to conventions?
Yes. So, well, conventions in general, nowadays I do a lot of photography there. If I'm not working at the convention. I used to cosplay a lot more than I do now, but now if it's a convention that I'm working at, normally I'm also doing photography there.
That's awesome. When did you start getting into photography?
So I think my first interest in it was around the time when I was 19. I had a friend ask me to photograph his band's performance because I was one of the few people that had a digital camera that he knew. And I went and I photographed it, and I had so much fun just doing it and capturing shots and then turning around and doing really basic edits on the Windows. It was like the Windows Photo, whatever at the time, the photo editing like viewing thing was, which was just like fix the basic contrast of it and like the saturation, stuff like that. But I loved it so much. I was like, I would do this forever.
So you started, well, reword my question. When you started doing cosplay, were you already like pretty versed in makeup? Or is that something that you got better with as you were cosplaying?
Both, I'd say. I mean, at the time I thought that I was like really good with my makeup. But looking back at it, some of the stuff that I look back at, I'm like, that wasn't my best work.
I feel like
So
that's all artists, like all artists as they improve, they look back and think like, man, this could have been if I wrote it the way I did it now, if I did my makeup the way that I can do it now. But your eyeliner's on point, which is what matters. So
thank you, thank you. I've
of
been
course.
doing winged eyeliner for years and years, so it's only because I've done it for so long. I have like very bad drawing skills with the eyeliner point.
I love it though. But so okay. Um as far as cosplaying goes, before we talk about the pictures themselves, what was the first character you started cosplaying?
Misty from Pokemon. That was my
Okay.
first one at my first con in 2013.
Was there any particular reason? Was it just your interest, or were people telling you that you looked like her, or how did that
Um,
go?
it was um, well, I like the Pokemon franchise, but also that was a very easy cosplay. And from like my first one, that was something that I looked at and was like, I can do that. I can thrift most of this outfit. Like, cool. And I didn't
It's
even like, I wasn't wearing wigs. I went and I got my hair like colored like the kind of like orange color that Misty's hair was and put it up in a side pony.
and so the experience went well enough that you decided that you wanted to branch out and continue to do so, but as different characters.
Oh yeah. I had before I had gone to that convention, I had been wanting to go to an anime convention for years and years and years. Like I was in my 20s at the time when I first went. And I had been wanting to go to one since I was in middle school, because I was a little baby weeb for as long as I can remember, since like grade school, when I was watching Sailor Moon on VHS. And yeah.
I think I have a pop bottle of tuxedo mask around here somewhere. So you dye your hair a lot for cosplays, obviously, but
Yes.
do you, what would you say the ratio is to from dyeing your hair to wearing wigs?
Now it's 100% wearing wigs. Just because with the wigs I can more so get it into whatever style I'm really going for. And more often than not, my hair color is not going to match whatever it is I'm cosplaying. Very rarely is there a time where I'm like, I can use my natural hair in this. Wow.
So you have gotten into dyeing your hair for fun, I'm assuming, just based on what you want. Is that something you think came from your cosplaying?
Oh no, I've been doing this since way before. I was never like a super fan of my natural hair color. I thought it was kind of boring, so I started dyeing my hair in high school, and I just never stopped. So the roots of my hair are about as natural as you'll ever see my hair be.
So do you only do conventions in Northwest or the Midwest?
No, I've gone to let's see, I've done Dragon Con in Atlanta. I've done KatsuCon. I did out in Washington, or is that Maryland?
I don't know.
One of those areas. And just recently, fairly recently, this past year, I went to Otakon in Washington, DC, and I worked that convention.
So when you say you work conventions, like what kind of stuff do you do? Is it just your photography, or do you handle other things as well?
Depends on the con. So as of now, I only work at 2 conventions, and that's Ohayocon and Otakon. And at Otakon, I'm in the guest relations department. So I work with the handling the guests there. And then at Ohayocon, I run the photography and now also video department, because we expanded. Now we have a video team.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got like videos up on the YouTube. I'm so excited about it.
Do you, what was the, like, from going from cosplaying to taking pictures of other people cosplaying, what was the like spark that caused that switch?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because I used to go and try to cosplay and bring like my camera and do both. But as I started to get into like doing more extensive cosplays and finding that it was really, really difficult for me to do both and like carry my actual equipment with me while in a costume, I kind of just decided that I needed to like start making like choices on where I would rather cosplay versus do photography. And so now I do a lot more photography than I do actually cosplay. But I think that switch started like I think like a couple of years before like COVID hit was when I started like really like trying to go all in on the photo side and like going to conventions and booking photo shoots out and stuff.
So in several years from now, where do you hope to be at in the, like, as far as cons go, at what do you hope to be doing at them?
Ooh, definitely still photography and possibly video also. If I could finagle both, and that would be great because I've been teaching myself video over the last year, and I found it to be really, really fun.
Do you ever cosplay still, or do you generally just stick to the photography?
I do still cosplay. It kind of depends. A lot of times that if I want to cosplay, I want to do it with at least another friend or like a group or something. And if I go to a convention, more than likely I'm not going to cosplay all 3 days. I'll take my pick on like if I'm going to cosplay on Friday, how long during that day I'm going to cosplay, and then when I'm going to swap out and like bring my camera out kind of thing. Because I can't be in cosplay all day anymore. I used to be able to do that and be like, yeah, I'll wear this all day from like 9 a.m. to like past midnight, and nope, can't do that anymore.
So in the past, when you were younger, what did you want to be, or like see yourself as in what society would consider like a regular career or a normal career? Like, did you want to be like a doctor or anything like that?
A few different things. I was one of those people that went to college and didn't know necessarily exactly what I want to do, and switched my major a couple times. Like when I first started, I wanted to be a fashion designer. And then I was like, well, maybe I want to go into journalism because I also really like writing. And then eventually I kind of landed on photography. I was like, yeah, I think that I would like to make this a career and not just a hobby. And then I swapped my school where I was going to one that did digital photography. And I never looked back.
When you were in college, were you still dyeing your hair all different colors?
Oh yeah, I was doing it myself too in my bathroom. Huh?
I said pulling a full Ramona flowers.
Yes, was. Yeah, I got compared to that actually quite a lot after the movie came out.
That's funny. So as far as future cons, what are the next cons that you have coming up that you'll be present at?
Ooh, good question. I know that I'm going to, I said that I only work 2 cons. That's a lie. I also work Matsuri Con. I just didn't work it last year because it fell on the same weekend as my best friend's wedding. So that one is the next one that I have on my radar is Matsuri Con. I really want to go to Cincinnati Comic Expo. That one's one of my favorites. I'd love to make it back to Dragon Con. That'd be so stellar. I love Dragon Con so much, but it's financially a lot.
It's
just like between
Atlanta.
the travel. Yeah, the travel to get there, and then like keeping yourself like fed and like getting your hotel and everything, it can be a lot. So if I save up enough funds for it, I would love to go back to Dragon Con.
So where is Matsuri Con located?
It is in Columbus, Ohio, actually in the exact same spot that Ohayocon is.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like summer Ohayocon.
So do you, if somebody comes there to one of these cons that you take images and potentially video at, how would they find you or request you to take pictures of their cosplay? So
I have both a Facebook page and an Instagram. My Facebook, both of them are Katie May Bay. That's Katie, the M is M-A-Y, and then B-A-E. I picked that up from a couple of my friends who, funny enough, live in Georgia now. But they would always call me Katie May Bay, and I thought it was so cute. And then one day I was like, can I steal that? Because that like has a good ring to it. Because I had never been able to figure out like a cute little name for my cosplay work. Because I wanted to separate my cosplay photography from my other photography, just to kind of like it, so that if I have like wedding clients or engagement family clientele, like they wouldn't have to scroll through like all of my convention and cosplay work to find all of my other work that relates to what they wanted.
What do you find is the biggest difference between doing wedding photography or like personal photography versus doing convention and cosplay
Posing.
imagery?
Posing is the biggest difference that I've found, because with so with all of like my weddings, engagements, family photo shoots and that, a lot of the people that I work with aren't used to posing, aren't used to being in front of the camera. They need a lot of direction. They don't know like what angle of their face is their favorite. They don't know what to do with their hands. They don't know how to like stand up, like all kinds of stuff. But with conventions and cosplayers, a lot of cosplayers practice their poses because they want to be ready for if a person comes up and asks them for a photo, they'll do a pose. And, or, you know, so they'll have like a little repertoire of poses that they'll go through. And I feel like also with my cosplay shoots versus my other shoots, I feel like it's more collaborative than the other ones, because I just find that the cosplayers like have more of an opinion on how they want to look, what poses they want, how like what kind of photos or images or ideas they have.
It's probably easier for them to relate to you as well. Do you
Yes.
ever I know you said that it's difficult, but do you ever do, or have you ever done cosplay shooting, like taking pictures while actually still in a cosplay uniform?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I did. One of my big ones was I used to be known by my friends a lot for cosplaying Raven from Teen Titans. And I would take my camera and I would like put it over my arm and I'd hide it behind my cape. And then like whenever I was doing a shoot, I'd like whip it out. But after a while, I was also, not only did I find it being kind of hard to cosplay while carrying a camera, but I was like, you know, I don't want to be in the middle of a shoot and then somebody else comes up and asks like me for my photo or something. Or like I can't do something that I want to do because my cosplay is limiting my movement or something.
So obviously this probably changes every year, but is there a specific cosplay right now that's your favorite that you always look out for? Like, oh, like let me find all the decus, or let me find all the etc. and try to take as many images of those as you can.
Well, so there's one. There is one that I'm always on the lookout for. And I don't know if you've seen or heard of the movie Belle.
I don't think so.
It's streaming on HBO right now. But it was from the director that did Summer Wars and The Boy and the Beast, if you know those movies at all.
Unfortunately, I also don't know those.
You'll have to look into those. They're really good.
Are they animated?
Yes, they're anime.
Okay.
And I have a friend that did the English voice cast directing for that movie, and another one that voiced the lead character. And what I've been doing for the last few years, whenever I see a Belle cosplayer, I've been taking a photo of them and sending them out to them, like, "Hey, look, found a Belle." So that's one that I normally look out for, just because I think that it's fun. Like, look, like the thing that you worked on is getting cosplayed. Because if I worked on something and like a character from something that I worked on was getting cosplayed, I'd always want to see it. I'd be so pumped.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So then, do you have any aspirations of doing other things while working at conventions, other than video and photography, like running any specific panels or like moving up and being in charge of certain things?
I mean, I thoroughly enjoy heading the photo video department a lot. I only do that at one convention, but if I did that for more conventions, I wouldn't be upset about it. I have a lot of fun doing it. I've gotten a lot of good compliments on how I run it, which is nice because I've never, this was the first and the only place that I ever ran a department in, and I was really just making it up as I went. I was like, well, I was a manager before at a job, and I can understand how to make a schedule for somebody, so I can try to make this work, and it worked.
If you could do that at any convention, regardless of location and price, what is there one that you have in mind that you would specifically want to do it at?
Ooh. I, there's so many good conventions. Oh my gosh. It would be a lot of fun. I mean, it'd be really fun to do it at like it'd be interesting, I would say, to do it at like a very big con, I think. Like a Dragon Con or a Gen Con or something that brings like a lot of people in there, just because I think it would be very, very fun. I like, sometimes I like the busyness of things. So I think I could probably I think I could do pretty well in one of those situations.
Do you like to stick with anime cons specifically?
Um,
Over like Comic Cons or things like that?
Not necessarily. I also really enjoy comic conventions. It's an entirely different world from anime convention, which isn't a bad thing. I think that each of those conventions brings something really cool and fun to the table.
Is there what do you think the biggest difference is between those two, or between not just those two, but let's say anime cons versus other cons, not just comic cons, but what do you think the biggest difference is?
The attendees are the biggest difference. I think not just in like the age range, because I found that a lot, it seems like an older demographic goes to comic conventions than anime conventions. I feel like I'm more inclined to find a lot of teenagers at an anime convention than I am at a comic convention. And the party scene is very different between the two also. And not that one gets more wild than the other, because I have seen wild parties at both types of conventions, but they're just very different. They both have very different vibes to them.
Is there anything that you want to, that I didn't ask, that you think is something that is lesser known about what you do that you'd like to share?
Lesser known about what I do. That's a good question. I don't know.
Like maybe something that surprised you once you got into doing it more.
I guess one thing that surprised me about doing it more is the amount of people that I have met and made friends with just strictly through photography and taking photos. I've made some amazing friends because I was either working at a convention taking photos there, or like I took a photo of them and then like we started chatting and became friends after that. And
Okay.
just, yeah.
Do you have anything that you would like to promote or shamelessly plug before I let you return to your normal everyday life?
Sure, yeah, actually. So, outside of my Instagram and Facebook pages, Katie May Bay, I also have just finished, recently finished one of our last videos for the season, the Ohayocon YouTube page. And we've got like 5 videos up on there now. That's like the drag show, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure pose off, K-pop, J-pop dance competition. Like it's definitely worth a look.
And that is OhayoCon for those
Yep.
watching.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it was wonderful talking to you, learning a little bit about your hopeful future and your history. So thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for reaching out to me.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Awesome.